Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year! Sorry, it's pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is SpaceTime Series 21, Episode 68, for broadcast on the 29th of August, 2018. Coming up on SpaceTime. It seems those strange auroral streams, collectively known as Steve, are not auroral after all. Solving the mystery of Jupiter's colourful cloud bands. And launch of the Aeolus wind satellite. All that and more coming up on SpaceTime.
Welcome to SpaceTime with Stuart Gary.
A new study claims that strange auroral streams, collectively known as Steve, are not auroral after all, but an entirely new celestial phenomenon. The mysterious thin ribbons of purple and white light that sometimes appear in the night skies were first brought to the world's attention in 2016. Amateur photographers have been capturing the phenomenon, colloquially known as Steve, on film for decades, but the scientific community only got wind of Steve in 2016. When scientists first looked at images of Steve, they realized the lights were slightly different from that of typical aurora, but they weren't sure what underlying mechanism was causing it. Now a new study in the journal Geophysical Research Letters reports on researchers analysing a Steve event from March 2008 to see whether it was produced in a similar manner to aurora. Aurora occur when high-energy charged particles, usually protons and electrons generated during geomagnetic storms on the Sun, collide with Earth's magnetosphere and are guided by the planet's magnetic field lines through the ionosphere, a region of charged particles. As these particles travel towards the north and south magnetic poles, they collide with oxygen and nitrogen atoms and molecules in Earth's upper atmosphere, causing them to excite and emit photons, giving off a glow and producing the colourful curtain-like displays known as the northern and southern lights, the aurora borealis and aurora australis. The colours being emitted during aurora depend on the particles being ionised. Reddish-brown glows are caused by collisions of particles with single oxygen atoms in Earth's upper atmosphere, usually above 300 kilometres. Lower down, the more common green hue is created by single oxygen atoms down to altitudes of around 100 kilometres. The kaleidoscopic curtains suddenly turn a whitish-yellow beige when nitrogen's mixed in with the oxygen. And aurora can also exhibit blue, red and even purple glows in lower atmosphere caused by the excitation of molecular nitrogen below 100 kilometres. But this new study suggests Steve is produced by an entirely different atmospheric process than the aurora, making it an entirely new type of optical phenomenon. The study's lead author, B. Gallardo Lacourt from the University of Calgary, says right now science still knows very little about Steve. The authors suggest Steve is a kind of air glow, a glowing light in the night sky that's distinct from aurora. Studying Steve will help researchers better understand the upper atmosphere and the processes generating light in the sky. A group of amateur auroral photographers first brought Steve to science's attention in 2016. A Facebook ground called the Alberta Aurora Chasers had occasionally noticed bright, thin streams of white and purple light running east to west in the Canadian night sky when they were photographing aurora. While aurora can be visible every night if the viewing conditions are right, the thin light ribbons of Steve were only visible a few times a year. And light from Steve was also showing up closer to the equator than aurora, which can usually only be seen at higher latitudes. Photographers first thought the light ribbons were created by excited protons. The problem is, protons can only be photographed with special equipment. That's because the light that protons produce usually falls out of the range of wavelengths picked up by normal cameras. Looking for a name for their phenomena, the Aurora Chasers eventually dubbed the light ribbon occurrences Steve, in a reference to the 2006 film Over the Hedge. When researchers presented their data about the unusual lights to a 2016 scientific conference, a fellow space physicist proposed converting the name to the backronym, yes I did say backronym rather than acronym, to the backronym STEVE, which in this case stands for Strong Thermal Emission Velocity Enhancement.